Hi everyone, yasas que kalosirtate to another episode of Dimitra's Dishes. Today I'm going to be making a quick and easy delicious spiced cake known as Fanouropita. It's made on Saint Fanurios Day, Agios Fanourio. In Greece they make this, almost every house will have this at the end of August when Agios Fanurios is celebrated. And it's just such a simple cake. It goes well with everything. And since fall is around the corner, this is one of the recipes that you're going to want to have on hand because it has all those warm spices in there. It has cinnamon and clove. It comes together in a bowl. It has walnuts and raisins. Just so delicious. Let me show you how I make it. Okay, we're going to begin with the dry ingredients. So in a large bowl, go ahead and measure out 3 cups or 410 grams of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons or 10 grams of baking powder, a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. I always go with a heaping teaspoon, half a teaspoon of ground cloves. I don't go too much with the ground cloves because if you add too much, then it makes it bitter. And the zest of an orange. Since I don't have oranges today, I'm using clementines, so I'll use 4 clementines and zest it right in here. Whisk everything all together, and now in another bowl, we'll combine the wet ingredients. So I'm going to begin measuring out the sugar, just so that way I can use 1 measuring cup for everything. 1.5 cups or 350 grams of granulated sugar, 3/4 of a cup of light olive oil or your favorite vegetable oil that doesn't have too much flavor. 1.25 cups of orange juice. I'm not using fresh, regular store-bought orange juice will do for this. If you have oranges on hand, you can juice them and that'll be perfectly fine. And I also like to add the baking soda. So a teaspoon of baking soda is going to go into the wet ingredients. I stopped adding baking soda to my dry ingredients a long time ago because I feel like it dilutes better in the wet ingredients and then you don't get that bite of bitterness that sometimes will be left if it's not sifted properly. And 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. Whisk this all together until it's nice and smooth. Carefully add the flour a little bit at a time. And once it's almost incorporated, we're going to add the dried fruit. So I have half a cup of raisins. This is definitely more than half a cup because we love raisins in the cake. At least most of us do at home. I do, and some of my sons do, and some people don't like raisins, so they're probably not going to have this cake, which means more for me. But if you don't like raisins, leave them out, or you can substitute cranberries or something like that. And then ground walnuts. Since I don't feel like taking out a food processor, I'll just roughly chop them with a knife. So you need about 70 grams or half a cup, but you measure this with your heart. I think a little more will taste better. And gently fold the dried fruit and nuts into the cake. Once everything is incorporated, this is just going to get transferred into a 10-inch round pan. I've just greased it. You could grease it with olive oil, butter, or spray it with pan spray, and then line the bottom of the pan with a parchment paper so that way the cake releases easily. Pour the batter into the pan and smooth out the top. The oven is preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. This is going to bake for between 45 to 55 minutes or until a toothpick that's inserted into the center of the cake comes out clean. That's how you know it's ready. Once it's done, you can take it out of the oven, run a knife around it just to release the cake from the pan. Let it cool in the pan, just really slowly, just leave it on the side. You can clean up while the cake cools, and then carefully flip it upside down to get that parchment paper off. Flip the cake back up, and if you have a cute little doily, this is just a paper doily that I bought from a craft shop. You can probably buy them on Amazon too. It's just going to make a decorative design on top. Dust it with powdered sugar, with or without the doily. It's totally up to you. It's not mandatory. And the cake is ready to serve. And there you have it. This delicious cake tastes good with tea, coffee. So make sure you call some friends over to share the goodness. They're going to love this one. And if you're not a fan of fruit or nut, like walnuts or raisins, you can leave them out, or you could substitute your favorite nut in there. So pecans are a good substitute. That's more of an Americanized version. We don't really put pecans in things in Greece, but it's a great substitute if you really like it. Hazelnuts are nice. It'll elevate it a little bit. And if you don't like raisins, leave them out. You can put your favorite dried fruit in it. So cranberries are really nice, dried cherries, even dates. Let me know how you're making it in the comment section. Let's take a little bite. And once you cut into it, the fork just slides through because it's so moist and tender. So good. I love all those warm spices that I taste in there. It's such a simple cake. And again, it came together in one bowl. And it's so simple with a little dusting of powdered sugar on top. It's gonna be on the table in no time. I hope you guys give this recipe a try. The exact measurements are on the website, dimitrasdishes.com. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I'll see you all next time. Yes, us.